Buongiorno, friend. Thank you for tuning in to You, Me, and Sicily. I'm Esther.
I'm Alfred, and for the first time in recorded You, Me, and Sicily history, I am Commando here today, and she doesn't have a dress on.
Of course I do.
She
Look,
has a dress.
it's our new set that we have here, our new equipment. Thanks to you guys, we're trying out all this new equipment.
I'm
hot
not
here.
Commando. Just I don't want anybody to get upset. I have my
Yes,
long
you are.
johns on today.
But let me tell
It's
you, it
hot
is
as hell.
scorching hot here in Sicily. We're going to talk a little bit about that. But first, we want to take you to Avola in the province of Siracusa, because that is going to be one of our home bases during our May tour of 2023. There'll be a part A and a part B, and we'll be based out of there. Let me tell you, I just love Avola, especially in the spring and summer. Beautiful beaches.
Well, what about the
crystal
prices for
clear?
these
Wait a
trips?
second, let me finish.
All right,
Crystal
I'm dying
clear
to find out.
beaches. I know. With people, just have a little patience, my bunny bunster. The churches, the food. We're going to show you all of that. But first, if you are interested in that grand tour, message me here on You, Me, and Sicily.
Because you have the prices ready?
I've got the prices
And you
ready.
have the itinerary ready?
We've got the itinerary.
Oh, happy day!
So let's go to Avola and take a look at some of the delicious food, sights, and sounds. Here's what a weekend looks like in Avola. Packed with people. These are the free places to swim. The water is just spectacular. And look at that, crystal clear. Definitely gonna jump in. All right, someone had to do it. Someone had to go into that water. It is absolutely crystal clear, beautiful day here in Avola. Saturday afternoon, but it's lunchtime, so not very, very packed. Very easy to get into. And over here, there are some restaurants that just take the stairs down there. There's even a shower for you afterwards. And right next to here is the old tonada. That's where they used to bring in the tuna and process it. No longer used. But there you go, a little peek here in Avola, in the province of Siracusa. Wish you guys were here with me.
Se c'è qualche differenza.
Posso andare?
Salvatore here,
Okay.
and we're getting ready to make the pizza di Avola.
Di avola, pomodoro, mozzarella e salame piccante.
Salami piccante, which is spicy
Adesso tra poco
sausage.
termina in forno. Pomodoro,
First the tomato sauce.
ok?
Okay. Mozzarella fresca.
Sì. E poi alla fine di sopra mettiamo salame piccante, quello, salsiccia piccante. Salame piccante.
Salame
Si
piccante.
può chiamare in due modi, salame piccante e salsiccia piccante. Ok?
There's the sausage.
Oppola.
Pizza di Avola.
Ok, sta andando in forno, va bene?
There you go. It's going into the forno.
Voilà.
Voila.
A posto.
He said it'll take about 2 minutes.
E allora, pomodoro preparato con sale, zucchero, basilico e poi frullato con mixer e olio d'oliva.
Perfect. So olive oil, basil, sugar, sale, pepper.
No, pepe no.
No,
Pepe no.
so only salt.
Sale, zucchero, sugar e... Questa quasi buona. A temperatura così. Guarda, quasi pronta.
Almost ready.
Ok, ci siamo. Pronta.
It's ready.
Riprendila adesso, guarda che bello.
Oh, that is beautiful. Look at that.
Ok?
Wow.
Voilà.
Voila. There you go. Okay,
Origano.
so now we're gonna add a little bit of oregano and a little bit of
E olio
oil.
sempre d'oliva. Un pochino. Pronta, gliela vuoi portare e cioè vado a fare il pesce spada.
We're gonna see how this is. Crust looks delicioso.
Ben cotto, just the way you
Ben
like
cotto,
it.
just the way I
Well
like
done.
it. Well done.
Look at that cheese. Ooh.
On the
Usually,
Alfred scale?
you usually get a margarita. How is this compared?
Good. This has got the picante salami, the little hot salami in it. On a scale of 1 to 10, the Alfred scale, I'm going to give this 8.3. Not bad. Very
Not
good.
bad. Okay.
What do we got cooking tonight, Bunny?
Pesce spada, swordfish. Haven't had this
Very
in a little
impressive
bit.
piece.
Well, it was grilled, then the parsley, and of course you put a little bit of lemon and a little bit of olive oil. So let me taste this. Of course, I had my big salad. You know, swordfish, you can't go wrong in Sicily with swordfish. It's cut very, very thin. Looks very moist.
Looking good.
Cooked perfectly. Very moist. Right now, we're in June when we're filming this. The swordfish and the tuna steaks are really, really good. You have to have it very, very simple with olive oil, with the parsley, and a little bit of course, limone.
Okay, dig in, babe. Okay, Esther is got a small portion right now of the coatsies.
Small portion. This is a little bit of a different type of presentation, right? Let's see how it is.
It looks pretty good.
Because you know I'm a professional in this. Very flavorful.
There's
as
nobody
always.
better than you in terms of coatsies. Now look at those little guys there, huh?
They're a little bit smaller than what we're used to, but it's a very good flavor. He does do the garlic, and he does do the parsley, and he uses fresh tomato. Now, Alfred, you're having the mista carne.
I'm having the mixed meat grill tonight. It looks like we have some all different
Beef,
types of meat.
sausage, and chicken.
No carne cavallo, no horse meat there
not
tonight.
here. Alfred, listen.
You know,
to
this
me.
is unbelievable. Chicken. That's a piece of chicken. That's unbelievable. So
And look at this. This is what I ordered because I wanted to try one piece of gamberone.
holy
one
smokerinos!
shrimp.
Look at
Just
that
one
guy.
shrimp.
That guy's
I
like
just want-
7 feet tall.
Yeah, they're pretty big, so I wanted
Esther,
to try.
you're gonna have a good meal tonight, baby. All right.
Well, you know, Alfred, we did an entire other episode here on You, Me, and Sicily when I went to visit my friend Jody down in Avola and give you a little bit of a winter perspective. We also went to Cava Grande, which is like the Grand Canyon here in Sicily. Beautiful places. So I'll leave you a link to that video in the description of this video. But definitely one of those places. I have to tell you guys that I think some of the best beaches in Sicily are located in the province of Siracusa. If you've been here, what do you think? Do you agree? Of course, San Vito Lo Capo, always rated one of the best in Europe, but these white sandy beaches down here are just spectacular. San Lorenzo, Fontana Bianca, even the ones in Avola.
You know, it's for me. It's all about the vibe of a town, okay? And I just like the vibe of the town. It's kind of like hip, like happening, and very clean. I didn't see any debris on the roads. Any place I went to eat was great. The drinks were great.
The
So, that
gelaterias,
place,
even
it's
that,
flat.
even
It's
that
flat.
piazza, that main piazza. Let me tell you, I just love hanging out there, having a gelato, a drink, or a
Plenty
granita.
of parking. Prices are substantially cheaper than the surrounding cities of Siracusa, Catania.
Not as touristy,
I mean-
absolutely.
I mean, this place is a great place.
Now,
That's how I feel about it.
let me tell you that the other thing about it is that you have the sea, the Ionian Sea, and then you have the Hibla Mountains, you know, the Cava Grande Canyon, and also other mountain ranges there. It is very rich with lemons, with olives, and of course, Mandorla de Avola, the almonds from Avola are famous. They're shaped very particularly, they're white, they're just very different. And how can you forget? Nero de Avola. Where do you think that name came from? Avola.
You know, I can recommend the olive oils from Siracusa, Noto, Avola, Pachino, Mazzamemi. That whole area has very fruity flavored oils. Terrific olive
The
oils.
tomatoes
The
from
tomatoes
Pechino, right?
and you
The
know,
fish.
It's kind of funny today and all week long. We've been like chowing down on watermelon because what other fruit can rehydrate the body? Am I correct?
Yeah, we've been going through a
Oh
lot
my
of
God!
water.
And watermelon is nice.
But let
and
me tell you,
sweet.
too, next to Avola is a town called Casible, which is the site where the armistice was signed in 1943 between Italy and the Allied forces. So it is a very historic area as well.
We're gonna actually, when we go down there, or at least I'm gonna take some B-roll of that town because I'm a World War II aficionado, and I want to see this place where the Nazis surrendered to Beto. I think it was Beto Smith, Patton's guy,
September
Eisenhower's
1943.
guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, in 1943. So it's a little town. They have a monument over there. That's another hidden jewel in Sicily that, you know, people never talk about. You know, where was the armistice signed at the end of the Second World War? I mean, you stop and
Right
think
next to
about
Avola in Casible.
Yeah.
All right, so, you know, the heat here all over Italy. You guys have heard about it, I'm sure. I'm sure it's hot where you're watching as well. It's, you know, hot heat summer. So interesting how Sicilians deal with it. They don't leave the house really until like 10 o'clock. Then they'll go down to the beach, spend the entire time at the beach, then come back, have a little pranzo, stay in. But I was talking to some of my girlfriends that were going out tonight. They're not leaving till 10:30 at night for dinner. 10:30 at night.
I'll tell you a quick story.
It is much cooler. It is much cooler. But boy, that's a late night.
You know,
You're in
Esther,
bed by then.
I'll tell you a story, okay? And it wasn't until I moved to Sicily that everything 2 and 2 made 4. But when I was a little kid, going to visit my grandmother in Massachusetts on a hot day, like today, for example, when I went to her apartment, which was on Carmen Street in Lawrence, it was pitch dark, or almost pitch dark, okay? One of the things I learned from her was if you keep your house kind of dark,
Of course.
it's cooler. So here in the morning, the sun beats down. So what we do is the shutters behind us, they stay closed until the sun goes to the other side.
These are the shutters into our bedroom.
Right, and the ones on the other, right next to us is the ones into our living room. So these guys stay closed. When the sun is overhead and goes behind me, then we open them up and then we close the shutters on the other side. And we also do quite a bit of electrical conservation by shutting lights off all the time. I mean, I'm forever shutting lights
Yeah,
off.
in
and
fact,
so is
for
she,
check,
so is
there's a
she,
lot
yeah.
of places that do
Just
that. A
keep
lot
the
of the
house
shops.
cool. It keeps the house cool.
I got to tell you, I was watching a video on YouTube about Sicily. Actually, it was about Italian foods. And this woman was making a Sicilian dish. And I got to tell you, I stumbled upon this quote. And I got to read it to you. I'm interested if you've heard it before. Sicilians build things like they will live forever. Of course, you've got the beautiful temples and other Greek and Roman ruins. But they eat like they will die tomorrow. Have you heard of that?
But you want to know something, though? I have
It's
to be
true.
honest. We were
It's
talking
true.
about this, and even the Americans who come with us on our tours, I don't see people gouging anymore the way I used to see the tourists come 20 years ago. And I was just telling this to Esther. When people used to come with us on our tours, we used to do an appetizer, a primo, and a secondo. I mean, the only thing we didn't give them is a feather to put in their throat afterwards, okay? And people actually complained about the quantity of food.
They've complained with us too much.
Yeah, that there was too much food. So what we did is we cut back a little bit.
And
We
it's
gave it
still too much.
We gave great thought into, we alternate stuff, okay? and it's just the right amount, but that's pretty much what I've seen in restaurants generally. Very rarely do you see an appetizer, a primo, and a secundo for rank and file.
You know, the last time we were in Nespoli down in Acetrezza, there were a celebration, there was a
Something
baptism
different,
or
yeah.
something, and boy, they were sitting there for a good 3 hours. They were there when we arrived, and they were there long after we left. So they still, Sicilians do it. Can I just give you one more quote and one more piece of
Wow,
fact
you're
that
into
I
quotes
found,
today, huh? Quotaholic today.
that I didn't know this, but Much Ado About Nothing, Shakespeare's Much Ado About Nothing, you've heard about it, right? It's based in Sicily. In fact, he wrote several plays and books and things based in Sicily, and for a while they thought that he was Sicilian.
I actually
And
read
wait a
articles
sec,
about
and the
that. Was
mayor of
Shakespeare-
Messina at one point made him an honorary resident of Messina. I never even heard about this. Have
William
you heard about
Shakespeare,
this?
huh?
Did you hear about this?
I had heard something about that years ago, but here's a good thing about the internet. All you have to do is say
Google.
the following sentence. Hey, did you know Shakespeare was a Sicilian? Yeah, I heard it on the internet. And I'm telling you right now, you have no idea how many people have said that to me on a factual assertion that they want to make that's like not true. So if you want to believe that,
I don't know. I was researching this quote to see if here in Sicily they build it like they will live forever, but they eat like they will die tomorrow. And I was researching, like, who said this? So I did find this quote in several areas, but I can't find who said it. But I thought those were two little interesting facts.
Well, I'll give you one now. Kevin Costner.
Tell me, he was Sicilian.
Did you know that his grandfather, 50 times removed, was a Roman architect? And he came up with the saying, and it's chiseled right next to the Colosseum: "If thou wast will build it, they will cometh." So that's why people go to Rome,
boy.
thinks of Kevin Costner. Seriously, don't believe that, because this is just a joke.
No, but I found
it's hard
several references to Shakespeare being Sicilian, and maybe he wrote some other things, and he talked about Sicily.
Can I just
Anyway,
say one last Shakespeare story?
yeah.
You see my hat on today, and this is a complete coincidence, but when I was a senior at Austin Preparatory School for Boys, by the time I was a senior, I was like marking time to graduate, so to speak, and they assigned me to fourth year senior level Shakespeare. And I had this guy that your mom used to know, Father George Morgan, rest his soul. And we did the whole year on Shakespeare. You name it, I read it.
I loved Shakespeare.
So one time in the fourth quarter of the year, wrapping it up, our assignment was to write a sonnet.
But by the way, before you go on, you know where the sonnet was invented?
In Sicily.
In Sicily.
But
True. It's true.
Shakespeare, of course, was noted for his sonnets. So we had to write a sonnet, and I wrote a sonnet.
Do you remember it?
Yeah, I did. I got suspended for 1 week over
that's
it,
right,
and
I remember.
I got a red F. But due to popular demand, I will tell it to you today. There once was a man named McAllister who had a tool of prodigious diameter. 'Twas in its size that dazzled girls' eyes. 'Twas its beat, iambic pentameter. Well, when I gave that presentation to my guys,
Was the whole classroom
they were on the
laughing?
floor laughing. Morgan took me out of the classroom. I had to go to Father Starter, the dean of students, and I was picking rocks, because that's what your detention was, for 2 weeks because of that.
Bad boy.
And he remembered it 40 years later when we met up one time at a pizzeria next to St. Augustine's.
How
Anyways,
can you
I love
forget
Shakespeare.
that?
I love Shakespeare.
So, in other news, moving on, Alfred's going to the United States for a couple of weeks to be with his family. Are you excited?
This is a new Alfredo over here, because now that COVID's over, I got a whole lot of catching up to do with my grandkids.
Well, this isn't your first time back.
I just went in November, but I was stuck here, I think it was for a year or 18 months.
Yeah, we were both.
We couldn't
yeah.
get out, for Christ's sake. I couldn't get out.
Well, we couldn't find a flight.
There was no
the
flights
flights were
away.
like 30,
So
40.
anyways,
So now
my,
it's much
my
better.
kids are now, my oldest is good at my grandkids. Rosie, she's good at 17. Can you believe that?
Time flies.
And the other one is, I think 13 or 12 or something like that. I want to get to know, and I know these kids because we Skype all the time and FaceTime and stuff, but I want to get to know these kids. So what I'm doing, Nanu and the 4 grandkids, is next week we're going to the Cheesecake Factory for lunch. Just me and my 4 grandkids.
That's gonna be fun.
And I don't care about anything else I'm doing. I mean, I'm going home to see my brother. It's his 70th birthday, of course. My sister, of course. I'm going to the cemetery to visit my mother and father, of course. These are the types of things I do. But the highlight is going to be
The Cheesecake Factory. What are you gonna have? What are you gonna have?
I've never been to the Cheesecake.
What do you mean
What
you've
do they
never
have? Just-
had? No, they have.
What do they have?
have
Just
lunch.
cheesecake?
No, they do have a lot of cheesecakes, but they have lunch stuff for
The
sure.
only thing I know about the Cheesecake Factory is what I see on that TV program, The Big Bang Theory, where that girl used to work as a waitress there. I don't know anything about the Cheesecake Factory.
You'll have a good time just watching them eat cheesecake. Although I think some of those kids don't eat that stuff, but we'll see.
No. That's their
Their favorite?
my son Matthew was telling me that they make a some type of what do you call
Oh,
it?
Massimo's here. To be continued.
Melissa just went down to meet Mossman, who wanted to say goodbye and to give her a couple of things to bring to the States, and she'll be here in 1 second. Oh, there she is.
Look what he got us. Cherries. And these are cherries from Puglia. Look at the size of these cherries.
Puglia has
you
the
know what he
best
said?
cherries.
He
They're-
said that Puglia has the best cherries.
I agree.
How come?
Because they're succulent, they taste
Come on,
good.
the ones we got it from Etna the other day were fantastic.
Look at the size of this
Look
guy.
at
You
the
gotta
little-
be kidding me.
This is what it came from. Puglia fruit, it says. What do you think? Better than the ones we got in Via Grande? Oh, come on.
Make them be
I'm all-
cold, though. I like cold cherries. You like cold cherries? I
Yeah,
like cold
I
cherries.
just-
I'm a cold cherry guy.
Okay. He brought you some other things to give to your kids. Anyway,
Oh,
Cheesecake
they're nice.
Factory.
Yeah, the Cheesecake Factory. So I'm going to go there with the kids. But really, this is going to be a family type of a thing this time, Esther. I'm going to be going
It's
back.
always family.
We were just talking about this. After our touring is over in the fall, probably the second half of October, I'm going to try to go back again for a couple of weeks. You know why? Because I want to see my grandson, Matthew, play sports. 'Cause
That'll
he
be
and-
fun.
He and I talked.
And you haven't seen foliage in
also
over
I wanna
5
go up to
years.
Burke Academy in Maine to see my granddaughter, Rose, play soccer. So these are basically the things that you miss as a senior citizen, a
Senior
grandparent.
citizen. Wait a second.
As a grandparent
As an
here,
expat, let's just
As
talk
an
it.
expat,
As an
yeah, you
expat,
miss
and that's one
those
of the
types of
things.
things.
The only thing that I do since COVID, I've been home twice already. I just want to be with my mom. I just want to spend time with my mom, time with my sister if she comes down from New York City, time with my niece. Those are the important things for us right now. I do meet up with a few friends from Andover, but basically,
when are
I
you
feel
going
like
home again?
I think I'm going to go home in November. But
So
basically,
we
those
have
are the
different
things.
vacation times.
Those are the things that I like to do as well. Just going home and listening to my mom, writing her book. That's coming along as well. So yeah, tutti familia.
Okay, getting back to business at hand over here, Esther. I wanted to thank the people who have become members of our community, which is probably the direct reason why we're able to enhance our capabilities to bring you stuff twice a week, and also
Yeah, all
when we do
our other
video,
videos,
yeah.
all our other videos, and thank you if you're a community member. Thank you so
How
much.
do you-
and
how
it's
do you get them to be-
$1.99, and basically, it's $1.99 a month, and it's one way of supporting us. Next to the subscribe on this video, there's a little button that says join. You hit that, and it'll take you. But I want to say thank you as well for everyone who's donated to our GoFundMe or any other way that you've been supporting Yumi and Sicily. We really, really appreciate it. And when you subscribe to our channel, you're not only helping us, but also it's one way for you to keep in touch with all the videos that we put up every week. Sometimes 2 times, sometimes 3 times a week.
You know, I've been talking about news the last few weeks from Sicily, and it's always been like kind of stuff like negative stuff, like garbage and all this other stuff, right? But yesterday and today, I've been reading about a very nice article, thanks to the European Union, which has really been pouring a lot of money into Sicily, in my view, in terms of infrastructure stuff like
For
drainage and
sure.
stuff like that.
There's
But get-
construction everywhere right now.
They just made a 24 million euro not a donation, but whatever you call it,
Allocation.
allocation to Sicily to begin to make things more handicapped accessible than they are.
Very important.
I think that's
Very important.
crucially
And, you know,
important.
I want to say piano, piano. Piano, piano means slowly, slowly. I remember when I first came here in 2014, down the street from us, there wasn't a sidewalk.
No sidewalks.
No sidewalks. So I'd be walking on the street because my first year I didn't drive. Because for those of you who don't know, driving in Sicily is something different. And I'm a Boston driver. But I remember 3 years later, in 2016, my third year here, there was a sidewalk, and I was so impressed with that. But slowly, slowly, the infrastructure is improving here in Sicily. You know, they're working on a lot of roads. They're adding some lanes on the highways. So I don't know who was the brilliant person who decided to do all this work in June, July, when it's high heat and also tourist season, but they're doing something.
You know, retaining walls, those are walls that you put up if the earth is going to come crashing down. It holds back.
Yeah,
right?
they had a
on
lot of
hills,
those.
On hills in Sicily, what happens is when it rains, and believe me, when it rains, it's like deluge over here. You get mudslides. And as I drive around some of the areas over the years that I know are prone to mudslides, I'm seeing the construction of good quality retaining walls.
Very important. In fact, down
So
by
all
us,
this money comes from the
all the
European
way
Union.
down to Acitazza, there's those new buildings, and I saw retaining walls as well. So those are very important. So, piano, piano. We're getting there. We're getting
We
there.
have a long way to go, okay? There's no question about it. For me, the biggest thing I don't understand with a small little country like this that has chronic water problems.
Well,
okay?
listen, let's talk about
Why? Well, wait a minute. Let me just finish what I'm saying. Why doesn't the government invest in desalinization plants?
that. Well, before you even go
I mean,
there,
I don't understand that.
Before you
Why?
even
Look
go
at Israel.
there.
What Israel reclaimed a desert for heaven's
you're
sakes.
right. But
Saudi
even
Arabia.
before you go there,
Yeah.
the head of the Food and Vegetable Vendor Union has been talking about this quite a lot, because he is calling for the government to have a better way of collecting rainwater, because it does rain a lot here, believe it or not. Obviously not in the summer, but there are deluges and a lot of water that falls. And why not collect that water and preserve it for times like this? Right now, Sicily and Italy is experiencing extreme drought, and also the heat is not adding to it. The wildfires, some mindsets, some not, are not helping things. They need water for sure. And he was actually calling for them to do a government investigatory paper to find how that can be
Well, I'll tell you what, if
how
they-
they can collect water here in Sicily. And the other thing is
Yeah.
that he says that the irrigation needs to completely be overhauled and be made more effective. I see sometimes, you know, they're just watering things without the little hose that makes it very specific to
Yeah.
a plant, and the water is going all over the place. So they are talking about it, but as you know, my friend, sometimes it's just a lot of lip service.
You
So
know,
we'll
everybody
see.
was talking about or is talking about the wheat shortage, the worldwide wheat crisis as a result of Ukraine and Russia and all this other stuff. When her and I were driving from Catania to Palermo, the Sicilian wheat crop was being harvested, and we saw thousands of bundles, those big bundles.
I told you, and
of
it's
wheat,
one of the
all
biggest
ready to
ones.
get, put on a truck and shipped. So Sicily is, excuse me, totally doing its part for that issue.
Yeah.
In my opinion, I think it is.
All right, honey. Do you have anything else to say?
Yeah, there's just a couple more things I want to say. I am also very much looking forward to going back and seeing my friends, John Sato and Gary Aravella,
All the guys who you grew up with.
and Bill Dixon. Wait a minute, Greg Cleary, Jay Dowd, Joe Woods. These are guys that I went to Austin Prep with, and we've started this kind of like new tradition that when I do go home, we meet for breakfast at Mary Ann's Diner in Salem, New Hampshire. So I'm putting together having a breakfast.
You're going to be
again.
You're going to be busier there than you are here.
You want to know something?
It's a good thing.
It's a good thing. Look, you can go home and hang around the house, okay? I mean, I can go home and hang around the house and do nothing. Or I could plan going to the United States of America, which I love very much, despite all its flaws. Make no mistake about it. The United States of America is still the greatest and most powerful country in the history of the world, despite all its flaws. I'm an American. I was born in the United States. I'm a very proud Italian citizen, but I'm an American citizen. And I'm happy when I can go back there and I can experience things with, some of these guys
American
served
things.
in Vietnam,
Yeah.
for heaven's sakes. And, I mean, I love doing things. I'm going to eat some clam chowder.
And lobster.
You can't get
I
clam
do have
chowder
to
in
say,
Sicily.
I said I spend a lot of time with my mom, but inevitably I get busy and do, everyday American
What are you
things.
making right now? Tell them what you're making right now.
What am I making right now?
Come on, you've been cutting up the cabbage there
No,
all
I'm
afternoon.
talking about doing stuff when we're going to the United States that I miss
Can
doing
you go get
here.
that big thing and I'll tell
No.
them? We have this big
Can
container.
I finish what I'm talking
well,
about?
okay, but I want to talk about your big container that's bubbling away.
He's talking about my Hungarian sauerkraut that I've been waiting and waiting and waiting to make. And maybe I'll have a recipe on another video.
But how do you make it? What do you do?
No,
It's
maybe
like this
I'm gonna
big
have
container.
I'm gonna have a recipe in another video.
Okay, so right now we have this big glass
Anyway,
jar
the point is-
bubbling away on our other deck because it has to be in the sun.
Very
There's a piece
simple
of brown bread in
ingredients.
there too, or something. Right?
Yeah, that's going to be taken out in a couple of days when the water turns
Garlic
a little
is
bit.
in there and caraway seeds.
And if I had dill, you bet dill would be in there. Oh, I wish I had some. Next time I'm going to make it with the
And
cucumber.
she claims that it's
Anyway,
healthy. It's
so
healthy.
back to what we were saying. We love living here in Sicily, but it is great to go back to be with family and also things that we miss in the United States.
For sure.
So,
That's for sure.
on that note, thank you so much for spending this time with us. Leave us a comment if you'd like to hear about anything. Why don't you guys do this? Please leave me any questions or topics that you would like to hear on our next video of You, Me, and Sicily. Arrivederci.
I want to thank everybody for supporting our cause here, so to speak. And we try to bring you the best and most topical and current info on Sicily
As we can.
on the whole internet.
I agree.
Sa benedito.
Ciao.